Hi, welcome to another episode of the Paige Doodle Club. I'm Mike Paige, and today I'm going to show you how to draw a variety of hats. So grab some paper and a pencil or pen, and don't be afraid to make mistakes. Let's get right to it. And my friends here in Medfield, I propose to you the Medfield Milliners be our new mascot. We have a history of straw hat making here in Medfield. A milliner is a hat maker, so this episode is perfect for that. Let's get on that train of hat making. Medfield Milliners. Let's do it. I'm going to start with a top hat, and for this I'm going to make two lines like that. Make a very slightly arched line above it, like a smushed down rainbow. Then to start the band, I'm going to swing up on this side and around from this side. So this is going to be almost a smushed letter C joining a smushed letter U, if you want to think of it in terms of letters. I like to break things into shapes that anybody knows and can wrap their head around. Drawing is easiest if you can think of it in terms of simple things. So any line that you're looking at, if you look for something familiar, it'll make it easier to draw. Whoops, that's going to be a line for the brim there. And then right about here, I'm going to swing across, and we'll make a hat band on here. So there's a top hat. You could also have it sort of sitting back on the person's head, which would look a bit more like this. And then it would be curving down towards the face this way. Maybe next we'll try some pirate hats. So for a pirate hat, I'm going to start with a skinny letter U, and then I'm going to go out into a rainbow on either side, and then cut down a bit and out. And then we can make some trim along the edge here. So I'm just going to follow these parallel to the first lines that we made. That's not parallel there, whoops. Then I'm going to kick a line down to put a little crease in the hat. And then we'll come out to both sides. It's almost like if you were really bad at drawing a mouth, you might make the upper lip kind of the same shape. But we're making a pirate hat. Then you want to imply the crown of the hat behind it there. We can put some stitches on the hat, a little letter X. These stitches hold the sides close to the crown. You can also tuck things into there. So from here, the head, pirate's head would be about here. We can also do a different style pirate hat with one side folded up. This would also kind of be a Three Musketeer style hat. So basically we've got a letter C with an Elvis hairdo at the top. And The head would go right here. And then on this side, we're going to swing up like that. Make the crown of the hat. The crown of a hat, you always want it to stick out in a place that's going to fit the head that it's on. So I wouldn't want my crown coming down over here because that wouldn't be wide enough to fit the head that's in it. If you want, you could put some some frills along the edge if you want it to be a very expensive hat. So I'm just doing tiny little scribbles for that. And I'm hoping that your brain will read it as some frills. For a baseball cap, I'm just going to basically make a rainbow like that with a line to connect it. And I'm going to make this cap kind of off towards the side here. And the brim we're going to have come slightly down and over to here. This is going to connect with a swooping line like that. And whoops, really want this line sticking out a little bit more so that the face can be right about here. And then the brim would meet it like that. This part you want to be a continuous curve. And the head would be inside there. Here's some hair. You'd have an ear right about here, which means the hair needs to come down further. Hairline. Normally I would sketch the head before doing the hat. This is very backwards for me. I thought I was just going to make the hat, but also you need the little button on top. And we'll do a couple of panels coming down the sides here. And we're going to want a jawline coming down and a nose. This nose might be sticking out a little bit far. Again, typically you want to make the hat after you've made the head because that way it's much easier to block in the size of the hat compared to making a head proportional to a hat. Next I will do like a Gatsby style cap, sort of a newsboy hat, Peaky Blinders kind of hat, whatever you want to call it. So this is going to be sort of a floppy flat cap. I didn't mean to make that line there, sorry. And again, this part here where the brim curves around just like this, you want it to be one continuous curve. And then this style hat would have 8 panels on it, so we're gonna make some lines coming down for the seams. This line I messed up again. This line should really be a little further over, but gotta just live with your mistakes if you're using pen. And for this style hat, again, the ear's over here. I'm not going to make the mistake of drawing a head after making the hat again, but you can have a nose. Next we'll do a fedora. This is a hat that I always associate with Humphrey Bogart because nobody wore a fedora quite as well as him, I don't think. It's a very classic look, and he definitely had a way of wearing fedoras that kind of made it his own. You can tell if you're looking at a fedora on Humphrey Bogart. Like if you showed me a silhouette of a fedora on Humphrey Bogart, I could guarantee you, I could tell you that that is Humphrey Bogart wearing that hat. His tended to have a nice sort of crease here and a crease right there. And the front flipped down and the sides flipped up a bit. So there's a fedora. You can put a hat band on there. Fedoras typically have a hat band. There's a bunch of types of fedoras, which is part of why I wanted to do a lesson on hats, because there's so many variations to hats and they're not all the same. And even within fedoras, there's a bunch of variation too. There's stingy fedoras, pork pie fedoras. There's this classic style of fedora. An Italian fedora looks very different than an American fedora. So. And going back to what I mentioned earlier on previous episodes, if you're the type of person that pays attention to your surroundings and really notices the world around you, you'll start to pick up on variations in things like hats and trees or whatever it is that you're looking at. All right, so here are our finished hats. Now that you have made all of these hats, you're officially a milliner, so congratulations. Maybe try out some more hats on your own. Ironically, I did not make a straw hat like the milliners here in Medfield used to make. So maybe draw some more hats, find some more varieties that I didn't include, try those out. Don't be afraid to make mistakes, and tune in for another episode of the Paige Doodle Club.
All right, kids, now that you've finished your doodles, color them in and then share them with both Mike Paige and Medfield TV. We're going to take those images and we're going to put them all over our station. Can't wait to see what you guys make.